What's going on, guys? It's aarava here, and welcome to today's video. A very, very special and awesome video because F1 2015 has been announced. Yes, F1 2015 will be releasing on the Xbox One, PS4, and PC platforms this coming June. Yes, June. There were a few scares that may be coming later, but it's going to be coming out in June. So that is absolutely perfect for myself, at least. I'll be off from uni. I'll basically be doing YouTube full-time during June, May, July. So this is going to be absolutely epic. And today we have a lot of different news coming from the press release. So if you're new around here, then do subscribe around here for more F1 2015 news as it comes to you. But today I'm going to try and inform you on all the news I can scramble together from the press releases and the Facebook pages and Twitter pages of the F1 game. So let's get right into it. So we got some screenshots here of the press release emailed to me by Codemasters for F1 2015. So we'll just be analysing these, see what info we can get from this. So yeah, F1 2015 releasing on the PS4, Xbox One and PC this June. So no, if you have an Xbox 360 or a PS3, you will not be able to get this game and play it on that console. You must upgrade to a PC, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, which I highly am thankful for. I wanted this to happen for F1 2014, but it's had to wait till F1 2015. Thank God they're not making it for the old gen, because that would just held back the game massively. So very much looking forward to this, and a June release is a lot earlier than some of us were maybe fearing, because they didn't release any news earlier. So going on to the next screenshot now of the press release, we can see highlighted in yellow the most important parts that I felt to note down. So the handling is a vast improvement. We'll get back to that as well, because they mentioned that later on in the press release. In particular, our new tire model is a superb step forward towards realism, letting you explore where the limit is and allowing you to instantly feel more connected with the car. So that's pretty cool. So that sounds pretty awesome. The tyre model is changing a little bit, so hopefully that means you will be able to feel how the car actually, feels planted onto the track. Maybe you can feel some of the forces from your wheel or from your pad on the force feedback through to your controller or wheel from the actual tyre gripping the circuit. Also, later on, highlighted is changes in grip caused by temperature, wear, car setup, debris, and weather. So this is absolutely great because really, in pretty much all the F1 games so far, the actual grip levels haven't been changing that much from conditions, especially to temperatures. Temperatures are a very big thing. That's never been a factor. When it ggets a bit cloudy, in a race on F1 2014, that has absolutely no kind of changes to how the car really feels too much. I mean, I guess it does to a little extent, but hopefully this means there'll be a huge change. We've seen, in real life F1, especially I think at Hockenheim was it, when, in practice it was a lot colder, and then during the race it got hotter, and it meant the cars acted a lot differently. Also, to changes in tyre wear, obviously that's been a factor in old F1 games, but hopefully they've improved that a little bit more and it's a bit more realistic. Car setup, debris, and weather, so that's quite a big thing. So when you run over marbles, the car handling and grip levels will be a bit different. To weather, obviously maybe they just improved it and kind of finessed it a little bit, because I think the weather was pretty up to scratch anyway in F1 2014. It was probably one of the more advanced ones in some racing games you see, but I think they've stepped up a bit more to the kind of levels we've seen in Project Cars, perhaps, which is Project Cars is known to have a very, very good weather system. So he's hoping they've maybe tried to combat them and kind of go toe-to-toe with them. Our improved vehicle dynamics convey the difference in performance and the feel between mechanical and aerodynamic grip. So that essentially means you'll be able to actually feel the difference in downforce between cars. When you go from a Mercedes to a Marussia in the old games, you don't actually feel the lack of downforce. You just feel a whole lot of understeer, and the car in a straight line is a lot slower. But maybe this is now them kind of modeling it a lot more realistically, so you can actually feel where you're losing time in a slower car. And also, this is great for me personally, the difference between mechanical and aerodynamic grip, which is a big factor. In F1 2014, I'm going to be honest, this was absolutely crap. The mechanical grip was absolutely horrendous in F1 2014, and it's just not realistic. The cars have lost downforce, but they haven't necessarily lost a lot of mechanical grip, these new 2014 and 15 cars, which was real shame in F1 2014 when they just took away this mechanical grip and and didn't really concentrate on the actual factor, which was the actual downforce, not the actual mechanics of the car. So this will be really great to see if they can actually get the mechanical grip to work well. You know, tracks like Spain, where it's a very, you know, limited mechanical track, where the car will only be as good as the mechanical grip allows it, whereas other tracks like Monaco, obviously, it's very aerodynamically beneficial, and also like Monza, you have to take away aerodynamics to, you know, reduce the drag on the car. So hopefully this will be a lot more improved that we can see from the press release. A new force feedback system is added to feel the connection of the car with the track's surface. So that's a big thing. That's also been a big kind of complaint of a lot of wheel users, especially, because this is a big thing for wheel users. You know, you get a wheel and you want to kind of feel a lot more immersed into the game, and, you know, you weren't really able to get too much from the force feedback. So here's hoping that this allows, you know, people who use wheels to feel the car actually connected to the ground. You know, obviously, I don't know how many of you actually drive real cars, but myself, you know, when you'll, you know, appreciate it if you do drive a real car. When you sit in a real car and you're driving along, you can feel everything through your butt, basically, and you can feel all the kind of forces going around you on gravity and stuff like that. You can feel the weight of the car, and obviously they can't really redo that in the game, because obviously you're just sitting there in a chair that's not connected to the game at all. You've just got the wheel with the force feedback. So hopefully they're trying to do their best with the force feedback on the actual wheel to help you kind of feel the kind of planted onto the floor. I'm actually on the floor in game instead of just sort of floating above the track and going around whatever track it is. Moving on to the next screenshot now. Brand new Codemasters Ego engine. So I actually said this in my first F1 2014 announcement video. There's a link on screen right now to that video. I actually mentioned that. If you're interested about that, you can go check that out back then. But I actually said this in that video like a year ago, that they were going to make a brand new Ego engine for this game. So I guess I got it right there, and they got a new engine now. And so basically that just means the kind of the ecosystem where the game is allowed to kind of be developed is newer, and it's a lot more powerful. And I think they've tailor-made it obviously for the new gen consoles, and also to work with the PC, obviously. So hopefully this will allow the F1 game to keep on growing, you know, for the next, you know, few years, if Codemasters keep the game license, and hopefully they can kind of grow even more with a more kind of meatier pack punch game engine. In addition to just spectacular visual fidelity, which you will see in the screenshots later on, and also the first screenshot I showed you in the video, there's also been a significant step forward in physics-based handling model. So again, that's what I said just before, that we'll come back to. The handling model looks like it's been, again, kind of refined and hopefully vastly improved, and I really, fingers crossed, that the pad and the wheel is not, you know, completely out of whack, and hopefully they are kind of level pegging. And they've got additional handling model enhancements. So in addition, over 20 areas have been added to for the handling model in terms of what changes while you're driving, including engine and transmission. So that's quite important. Obviously, engine, you have to maybe take care of your engine a lot more. Aerodynamics, well, that's obviously the standard sort of thing. Hopefully, maybe they've modeled it a lot more. I think that I mentioned this in my announcement a year ago, that Steve Hood confirmed that there would be some sort of simulation of air coming off the rear of cars and affecting your aero. So when you're actually behind someone, dirty air will affect you. I know Steve Hood doesn't actually work at Codemasters anymore, but hopefully this means it is true. By them mentioning aerodynamics is going to be a new kind of factor in your handling model, and hopefully the air is being kind of simulated so that you actually get dirty air. Fuel tank, so that's obviously the standard fuel saving. It's not really too much of a factor in the new game in 2014, to be honest, so hopefully this is a much more factor and you actually properly lift and coast and really do something about it. Force feedback, as we just mentioned. Suspension, and most notably the new tyre physics, as we just mentioned also, but suspension's quite a big one. That's also, once again, kind of feeling the car on the road and kind of feeling the plantness. And if you go over a bollard, or let's say just a bump on the track, you're actually going to hopefully feel it, and it'll hopefully kind of actually judder your car around and maybe, you know, affect how you're driving. And this is all to recreate a breathtaking handling characteristics of the world's fastest and most responsive racing cars. It all sounds very, very good. Obviously, it's made to build hype, but I think, judging by what people are saying on Twitter, everyone is pretty hyped about this game. It's looking pretty sweet. The screenshots are looking pretty damn epic, and this press release just gets better and better. So going on to the next one, all new broadcast presentation styles. So That's pretty epic. Presentation style. So what would that mean? That might mean a different kind of hood to kind of make it a bit more kind of look nicer, but also at the same time they've said complete with podium and grid sequences. So will this mean finally, after years of I believe everyone sort of asking for it, will we finally get the kind of grid formation where you have to go around, weaving around, kind of heating up your tires, checking the brake temperatures? Obviously in the new F1 era, your radio has been the real F1 drivers, their radio has been significantly kind of banned and kind of monitored. They're not allowed to talk to the engineers as much. They have to do a lot more of their heating up the tires, heating up the brakes, and try and check everything is all right. So hopefully maybe this could be, maybe if you go into the grid, you don't get things right, your start will be worse if you don't heat up your tires properly, and complete with podium sequences. So hopefully that means we'll actually get to see the podium actually on screen. They've standardized the podiums this year in real F1 with the kind of same sort of podium style, so it won't be too difficult for them, I guess, to kind of make it in game, the sequence. So it'll be kind of awesome. We could see the drivers completely modeled and kind of celebrating and whatnot, showing off their trophy on the podium after. And if you're on the podium yourself in career mode, that'd be pretty awesome as well. And finally, using voice recognition technology for the Kinect and the PS4 headset, so that will be quite cool. I think that will kind of be a bit more of a kind of just a kind of cool little quirk, but I think probably most people won't use it. I know the Kinect and PS4, they're kind of neat technology, but it doesn't exactly work amazingly. Definitely on the Kinect, I've been told. I don't have a connector for my Xbox One, but I've been told the Kinect really doesn't work that amazingly, and sometimes it won't pick up your voice depending on your accent and whatnot. So I think that will be more of a kind of just a little quirky thing people try out in the first few weeks, but I don't think it might be a huge thing people use, but we'll see how good it is. Maybe if it's good enough, people will still keep on using it for the whole year of the game being out. And finally, going on, F1 2014, the season is there as a bonus selectable season, because many of you wanted the 2014 season on the next-gen consoles. I wanted it on the next-gen consoles as well. So this is a way for them basically to kind of have even more in the game, to have the 2014 season as well as the 2015 cars. Now, in the screenshots you're about to see, they've noted that some of the screenshots have 2014 cars and some of them are 2015. I'll tell you what they are, but it also says on screen when it is the different season. So you'll be getting 2 seasons in this game. I believe the 2015 season is going to be updated as you go along. So when the game releases, you'll get the 2014 season as a whole, and you'll also get the start of the 2015 season with some of the cars modeled, and then eventually Codemasters will be updating it to a point where you've got both full seasons, which will be very cool indeed. So we will instantly, for career mode, I'm guessing, get to race 2014 maybe as a career mode season, then move on to the 2015 season, which would be pretty cool. That'll be the first for a Codemasters F1 game to actually go from one season to another and actually have the cars changing and drivers changing, which will be pretty cool if they can do that. And so finally, just another confirmation, the podium finish is in the game and the grids. Codemasters on Facebook confirmed it to a fan, saying they're going to be happy if that's all they wanted. So finally, on to the screenshots of F1 2015. Here is a screenshot of the Mexican Grand Prix. As you can see, the circuit goes into that stadium section. That's where the Mexican Grand Prix goes through. It goes like through this kind of nice stadium section, and straight away you can see the crisp detail on the track as well. A lot of the kind of further away features have actually been modeled a little bit. You can see some cities in the background, some skyscrapers modeled in the background. You can see the grandstands a bit more detailed, I think, and just looking at it, the kind of lighting, the kind of natural, it kind of looks a lot more natural. I think in previous games, the games looked a bit too saturated, a bit too kind of fake, if you know what I mean. They kind of look like a video game, whereas this, I think they're starting to get a kind of nice balance between looking natural, but also looking a bit like a video game, looking a bit more vibrant than real life. The next screenshot is a 2015 kind of car screenshot with the Mercedes W06. You can see the kind of short, stubby nose again. It looks like they've modeled the Mercedes at the launch spec, because you can see on the camera pods aren't the actual ones they use in the Australian Grand Prix. Those are the pre-season testing ones. So hopefully this means with the live updates during the season for this game, that hopefully they'll be to update the actual cars themselves, and hopefully we'll get, new aerodynamic parts being updated. Maybe the camera pods will update eventually. At least that's what I hope will happen with these new kind of live updates that they promise throughout the game. But just looking at the detailing, you can see in the garage, it looks a lot better than it is right now. The garages right now in 2014 really do not look up to scratch. They don't look really too great, and that looks pretty damn nice. Some nice lighting there, a little bit of lens flare there on the right there if you're that sort of person. But on the front wing as well, you can see the nice detail. Looks like, again, as I said, it looks like it's modeled off the pre-season testing. So the cars aren't completely up to date, but he is hoping with the live updates that they'll be able to update the cars, because obviously maybe to the average eye, the average viewer, you won't be able to tell that that's not the up-to-date Mercedes. But, you know, if you know what you're talking about, you can see that it's not exactly the proper Mercedes we'll be seeing racing around Malaysia this weekend. But he is hoping they'll be able to update it. And I'm guessing these screenshots are from an earlier build. These builds are probably, you know, the screenshots you're seeing right now, probably from a build probably a month ago or something like that. Moving on to the next screenshot, we've got a screenshot of a Red Bull and a Lotus going down towards Luffield, I believe, in Silverstone. You can see the rain coming down, and the detail on the track is looking a lot better on the rain. You can see that it's you can actually see the specks of rain on the track, the different granules of rain, looking really nice there. And going on to the next screenshot, this is around Russia, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can see the apexes actually have some kind of 3D nature to them. In the old games, the apexes are kind of just flat. You can't really feel them. So he's hoping the new suspension modeling will actually mean if you go over these bumps in real life, you know, if you go go-karting, you know, if you've ever been go-karting, if you go over apexes, you know, they're pretty chunky and kind of, they rattle your car around. So he's hoping that the new suspension modeling will mean that your car kind of gets jigged around. These are from the 2014 car screenshot. As you can see, the Williams, Red Bull, and McLaren are all from the 2014 season. So if you're confused about that, that's because both seasons are available and they've modeled both seasons in there. So this is the 2014 season, obviously, with the Red Bull with the old style nose, and the McLaren, obviously. Going on to the next screenshot, this is probably the best screenshot of the entire kind of pack. The Ferrari of Kimi Räikkönen going around Singapore, it looks like, and the rain being kicked up from his tyres. It looks absolutely sexy. Just look, no other word for it. I think FizzyFan said it on Twitter himself really well. It just looks exquisite, and it really is looking nice with the lighting as well on the Ferrari. You can see maybe it looks like the raindrops are actually affecting the lighting on the car, but the raindrops being kicked up, that's a really nice feature to see, and that makes a lovely wallpaper. I think I might put that on my desktop wallpaper, you know what. And so yeah, that's all the screenshots for F1 2015. Again, just to summarize, released in June for the Xbox One, PS4, and PC. If you're new around here, then do click that subscribe button for more F1 2015 news as it comes. Obviously, I've got an F1 2015 modded career mode from the F1 2014 game, so you might enjoy that if you're new around here. But do remember to subscribe if you are new. Give this video a like if you did enjoy it and I did inform you about anything you didn't know from this game. It'd be absolutely awesome, guys, if you could smash over 1,000 likes on this video for F1 2015 finally being announced. I'm absolutely pumped. I hope you guys are. Tell me in the comments what you think of all the news and the screenshots. I've been aarava. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I will see you guys next time.